Hello friends, welcome back to the Casual Foodist. I'm Brianna and we are just getting into holiday baking season, and today we are going to feature one of my favorite holiday flavor combos, cranberry and orange, and we are going to make a delicious and easy cranberry orange coffee cake. This coffee cake features a ton of fresh bright cranberries, a nice thick layer of cinnamon streusel, and then we're going to finish everything off with an orange drizzle on top. It is delicious and really easy to make. Let's get started. We're going to start this coffee cake with my favorite part, which is the streusel. So I've got a bowl here. We are just going to add in 3/4 cup of all-purpose flour. And then we've got 2/3 cup of dark brown sugar. You can also use light brown sugar if that's what you've got. And then 2 teaspoons of ground cinnamon. And then we're just going to give this a good stir. Make sure everything gets nice and combined. All right, and then we are going to add in 6 tablespoons of very cold unsalted butter, which I've cut into small cubes. And then we're going to mix everything together with using a pastry blender, or if you do not have one of these, you can also use 2 knives together. And we are just going to mix together our streusel mixture until it starts to resemble coarse sand. All right, this is looking pretty good. We are just going to move this to the fridge to keep that butter nice and cold while we prepare the rest of the batter. Now onto the cake batter. In this bowl, we've got 1½ cups of all-purpose flour. And then I've got 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda, as well as 1/4 teaspoon of kosher salt. Then we're just going to give that a quick little whisk. And then set this aside. In this other bowl, I've got 1/2 cup of softened unsalted butter. And to that, we are going to add in 3/4 cup of granulated white sugar. And then we're just going to take our hand mixer, and then on low speed we are just going to combine this all together until the sugar and butter are nice and incorporated. And then on medium-low to medium speed we are just going to give this a good mix until our butter and our sugar are nice and combined. And this process is known as creaming. And you'll see this in a lot of cake and cookie recipes. To this, we are going to add in about 1 tablespoon of freshly grated orange zest. And then we'll also need a little bit of this fresh orange juice later for the glaze. Just gonna go ahead and make sure we get all of that zest so that orange flavor comes through. And then we've got 2 large eggs, 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, and then 1/2 cup of Greek yogurt. And I really love using Greek yogurt in my baked goods. It keeps everything nice and tender, and it has just such a nice tangy flavor. If you don't have Greek yogurt, you can also use sour cream, but I've always got Greek yogurt in my fridge, so I tend to use this a lot. All right, and then back to our hand mixer. And just bump that up to medium speed. Then we're just going to go ahead and make sure everything gets nice and combined here. And then we are just going to go ahead and add in our dry ingredients. And one last go with this hand mixer. And we'll bump that up to medium. And we're just going to mix this together until everything is combined. All right, and it's okay if the batter is a little bit lumpy. It will work all out in the oven. You don't want to over mix it, otherwise you'll get a tough coffee cake and nobody wants that. Then last but not least, I have got a cup of fresh cranberries, and we are just going to stir these guys in. Just a gentle stir just to make sure that those cranberries get nice and mixed in with that batter. All right, I've got an 8 by 8 inch baking pan here, which I've greased with butter and lined with parchment paper. This is going to make it easier to get your cake out later. And then we're just going to add our batter in here. All right, and look at all those fresh cranberries. I love this. Well, this is a pretty simple cake to make. You are going to dirty a lot of dishes, but it's worth it. I am just going to spread this out and make sure it gets all into the corners here. All right, that's looking good. I'm just going to go ahead and grab my streusel mixture from the fridge. Then we're just going to sprinkle on our chilled streusel mixture. We want to make sure that streusel mixture covers every inch of the cake. And we just want to make sure our streusel layer gets over every little corner of our cake. Coffee cake is ready to go into the oven. I've got my oven set at 350 degrees and we are going to bake this for 35 minutes. Our coffee cake is out of the oven and it smells amazing. While it's cooling, we're going to go ahead and prepare our glaze. In this dish, I've got a half a cup of powdered sugar, and then we're just going to add 2 tablespoons of fresh orange juice. I'm just going to give that a nice little stir until everything is nice and smooth. I've gone ahead and taken the coffee cake out of the pan, and the last thing we're going to do is just drizzle over our orange icing. You can kind of freestyle this. I'm getting delicious sense of cinnamon and orange and butter. It just smells homey and cozy and delicious. Look at how good this coffee cake looks. We've got fresh cranberries all throughout there, a nice thick layer of buttery streusel. This coffee cake is great for Thanksgiving morning, Christmas morning, any breakfast or brunch you've got going on. It's also great for afternoon tea or any dessert. Coffee cake is one of my favorite desserts and you guys are gonna love this. You can find a link to the full recipe below or at casualfoodist.com, and be sure to like this video and subscribe to the Casual Foodist for more recipes like this.